welcome to Coach's Corner with Jay, featuring Seminoles head football coach Jay Circosta. Our host for Coach's Corner, Lance LaFollette. After this short break, we'll check in with Lance and Coach Jay.
No matter what the occasion, Jackson's Newsstand has something to fill your needs with balloons, Marion Heath quality cards at reasonable prices, and gifts of all kinds. Pick up some treats like Brock's delicious candies in the case, or staples like sundries, batteries, car care products, and school supplies. Buy a bestseller or choose from hundreds of magazines, even comic books. Rent the latest video release or Sega and Nintendo games. Buy the newest CD or cassette. Services at Jackson's include Travelers Express Money Orders, UPS pickup, and Western Union, the only one in the county. Come and see what you're missing at Jackson's Newsstand, open 7 days, 8 to 10. As time passes, your needs change. Woodsfield Savings and Loan has changed to meet those needs. At the Woodsfield Savings Bank, we know your schedule requires a drive-through and night deposit box. You want convenient parking, direct deposit, and automatic payments. At our new location on State Route 78, we want to meet your needs for a home mortgage, car loan, checking, and savings account. Our name and location have changed, but we're still here to serve our community and to help you to grow. The Woodsfield Savings Bank.
Good evening and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Lance LaFollette, joining Coach Circosta this evening. We're going to take a look back at the Seminoles home opener last Friday evening against Shadyside Tigers. Coach, we come out sort of sluggish. It looked sort of bad for us for a while, and we were able to put things together there with a big third quarter, some special teams play, and were able to get that first win.
Well, the win is good, Lance, and it's better than last week's loss, but let's not try to kid ourselves or anybody else in the fact that we need to play a lot better football next week or this week than what we did last week against Shadyside. As you mentioned, we had to rely on special teams, 2 return punts for touchdowns to kind of get us going. Went into halftime 7 down and came out and still sluggish in the second half until we got those 2 returns for touchdowns. And then we started to move things. We got motivated a little bit, started to get excited, and then all of a sudden we had a penalty, and that killed the drive. And we had a fumble, and that killed the drive, and it seemed like we were back down again. And then Shadyside took the ball down. They ended up getting a touchdown and a field goal, and they were on top again. And the only drive that we had the whole night was at the right time, and that was at the end to win the football game. And we're just going to have to play a lot better football. And what's ironic is, last week we lost a close ball game where we probably played at times good enough to win, but we didn't win. And there was a lot of talk about, should do this and should do that, and you'll have that when you lose. And this week we won. You don't hear that kind of talk, but we still need to play much better football on both sides of the ball if we're going to, continue to win.
Okay. If we look at last year, again, you hate to look back that far, but we came out the first 3 games and basically snuck away with 3 victories, and we played 2 this week or this year so far. Weren't so fortunate the first one the other night, like you said, could have went either way. I mean, Shadyside, they've got a kicker that can really put a split into the ball, and we gave them a chance there at the end to get back in, and we're able to hold strong. Looking at River this week, I mean, it's the same deal. River, we know they're going to be strong. One concern that I sort of had is the guys, I don't know, like you said, their tenacity. There just at times doesn't seem to be the fire, and sometimes even after touchdown, it's not there. You're going to see the pounding on each other. Is this something we've addressed in practice?
Well, to be very honest with you, Lance, we addressed that at halftime last week. In the fact that we're kind of standing around waiting for something to happen rather than going out making something happen. And usually when you stand around and wait for something to happen, what happens is usually not good. When you make something happen, you get a lot of breaks, and when you play enthusiastic, spirited, excited football, a lot of good things will happen. And that's what we're not doing, and that's what we impressed upon our players at halftime, and we've been talking about that all week, is something we need to do more of. You're going to have ups and downs in a ball game, and when you have a downtime, type of thing, whether it be a fumble or a penalty, you can't let that get you down to the point where it affects your performance or allows the other team to gain the momentum. You've got to get yourself back up and you got to play and you got to bounce back. I will give our kids credit in the fact that we were down 7-0 at halftime. They didn't quit. They came back out. We got a couple big lifts on those returns, and then they got excited and they played some good football. And the other thing you mentioned was the fact that Shadyside has a good kicker and they got down there, but we forced them to settle for a field goal. Had they got that ball in on that last drive of theirs, where they got the field goal, if they'd got a touchdown, then we could have been in big trouble. So we've been a little bit down there, but we didn't totally break down, but we're going to have to play a lot better defense. We're giving up too many points. We gave up 19 in the opener, and we gave up 17 this past week, and we're not consistent enough offensively. Like I say, we had one legitimate touchdown last week, and that was the last drive, and we just got to do better offensively. We're having a breakdown as far as assignments are concerned. We're not sustaining our blocks. There's times we're not running the way we should run, and we're taking a sack here and there, and we're just totally out of sync, and we need to work real hard to get back in sync.
Okay. Yeah, you look at Chris Demmerling, a good example. You'll notice Chris Demmerling on the field several times, and after Jesse Nipper's punt returns, he threw two pretty good blocks, and he was fired up. I mean, he's not faking when he's swinging the fists and gets fired up, and it's contagious. I mean, the crowd gets excited. If we can keep that going and get some of those other kids involved with that type of enthusiasm, I mean, that just, like you said, carries over.
Right, Chris has always been that way. He plays excited with a lot of enthusiasm, and we need more of that. And I think if we get more of that, we're going to see a lot better performance on both sides of the ball. It's not that jumping up and down and that type of thing makes a ball player. It doesn't. But Chris backs his excitement up with his performance on the field, and we need to have more of that all the way around.
Okay. On our touchdown drive that ultimately put us ahead, we come out, John Shoemaker's out of the ball game with a cramp, and we reel off 3 or 4 plays right up the gut, and big gainers. I mean, and that wasn't a change up as far as play calling, was it? I mean,
not really. Some of those things we had tried earlier on and not been successful with them. Then we came back on that last drive, and Josh Jones broke a real nice long run, and Daniel Ludwig had a couple nice runs. One of the things that happened there was, and you'll see in the highlights, if you look real closely, we went to an unbalanced line, and they didn't adjust, and we got a couple big plays. In fact, the last play, the final touchdown, was toward our unbalanced line, and they didn't shift down, and so I think that helped us. And plus, we came off the ball a lot better in that last drive, and we started controlling the line of scrimmage. It sounds like an old cliche to say that you have to win the battles on the line of scrimmage in order to win the football game, but that's exactly true. Whether you're offensively or defensively, if you control the line of scrimmage and at least win 5 on offense, 5 of the 7 battles up front, you got a real good chance of winning the football game, and we started to do that on that last drive. But that's what I referred to or meant when I said we need to be more consistent and do that more on offense than we don't.
Okay. We touched on it last week. Daniel Ludwig all he does is score touchdowns and make big plays, and he did it again the other night. He went in virtually untouched, and people sit and they say, how come we can't do that all the time? So, it's early in the year. We look back at years, the first undefeated season, 1973, we started out 6-0. So, I mean, hopefully things are going to get swung around here.
Well, you mentioned Daniel, and Daniel's kind of like, in a way, that forgotten back in the backfield when you got backs in the backfield the caliber of Eric Kramer and Josh Jones, who have got the bulk of the carries and picked up most of the yards. People have a tendency to key on those people, and then when you hand the ball off to Daniel, he doesn't have outstanding or great speed, but he runs hard. He does a nice job at following his blockers and making the cuts at the right time, and he's picked up some big yardage in the few carries that he has, and I think you're going to see him carry the ball even more, but it's just something we'll have to continue to do to mix it up and kind of keep him off balance. It is nice to have 3 different backs in the backfield that are very capable of carrying the football.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break now and come back with our first guest this evening, sophomore wide receiver and free safety Jesse Nipper. We'll be right back.
Woodsville Ashland sells pure gasoline, diesel fuel, and kerosene. And they're pure Seminole fans. Join these Woodsville Ashland fans in their newly expanded dining room for a fabulous lunch, supper, or snack. Try some hot pizza, delicious Caesar sandwiches, onion rings, or cheese sticks. Top it all off with Kirk's homemade ice cream or Southern Snow in lots of flavors. The Hoffs invite you to follow the Seminoles throughout the football season and follow the Noles year-round into the Ashland for great food and snacks. When you go to all the expense of building a new house or remodeling a room, why stop short when it comes to the walls? For the finish you want in your home or business, call an expert, Bill Pardon Drywall. Call today for a free estimate on small jobs or an entire house. Bill will hang, finish, and even texture your drywall if you'd like. For a distinguished look, he'll do a textured or an antique ceiling. Call Bill today and have the expert look you want on your walls.
Welcome back to the show. Joining us now is sophomore Jesse Nippert. Jesse is a wide receiver on offense, free safety on defense, back deep on kickoffs, back deep on punts. Had some real big plays the other night. Jesse, you're just a sophomore. You played a lot of ball last year as a freshman. Are nerves something that come into play, or are you over that now?
Not very much this year compared to last year. As a freshman, there was a lot of pressure and everything. Got nervous every once in a while, but this year I like to go out there, have a little bit of fun, and sometimes try to make things happen.
Okay. Make things happen. You did exactly that the other evening. 45-yard touchdown on a punt return, got us tied up at the ball game. Really set the stage for some momentum. 3 and out on the next series, and took that punt back 67 yards. You look comfortable back here. Is that punt returning something you enjoy?
Well, the reason that happened the other night is because a couple key blocks from Eric Kramer, Chris Demmerling, and Ben Miller, they really opened up some holes, along with the rest of the punt return team. They made it able for me to get them runs.
Well, there's a return right. There's return right.
Yep.
Because I had a real clear spot from where I was, and I was quite well. You're exactly right as far as the blocking. Coach, what do you have to say about Jess?
Well, Lance, Jesse is just a sophomore, and sometimes you overlook that fact, and the fact that he played last year as a starter as a freshman. Had a good year last year for us as a freshman, both on defense and also on offense. On offense, he got better every year, made some nice catches, and continued to improve. And also last year on defense, he was one of the leading interceptors in the battle with 7 interceptions from the safety position. So we had hoped that experience that he obtained last year as a freshman would pay off this year, and I think we see it doing that. The position of returning punts is new to this year, but we felt with his ability, his speed, and capabilities of making things happen on the field, that would be a good spot to put him in. So that's why he's back there, and I think you can see that it's something that paid off early on in the season. And you look to your special teams to make big plays, and as he said, you're going to make big plays when people block, and we did have several good blocks on that return, and he also did a lot of it on his own too. He made some nice cuts, and then he accelerated when he needed to accelerate. You saw in that first one, he even took a little skip in there, and I thought that was ironic because I kind of call him Skipper a lot of times instead of Nippert. But Jesse has a lot of talent. He has a lot of ability. I think probably the big thing is to get Jesse, and he'll probably be the first to tell you, I'm always on him, to get him to work harder in practice and push and push and push to become a better football player. But I think we're going to hopefully see a lot of big plays out of him, not only on the special teams, but also more interceptions on defense as he did last year, and also some big catches and runs on offense.
Okay. Well, Jess, big game this Friday night. River, I know that's got some meaning for you with your dad being an alumni, so I want to get you out there and wish you luck. Have a big game. Those guys from River know how fast you are from track. I'm sure they remember. So, like I said, relax, have a good time, and good luck.
Thanks, Lance.
We'll be right back to talk with Josh Jones.
A good football team works together, helping each other to do their best.
A good insurance company works together too, showing you the best coverage for you and your family.
A winning football team shares the glory. The running back needs those blockers to make that long run to the end zone.
A winning insurance agency represents several companies, so you have personally designed coverage to take you wherever you need to go.
The Monroe Central Seminoles have a winning tradition.
And F.W. Shoemaker has a winning tradition of service, integrity, and customer satisfaction.
Two local traditions that keep on going. At Respects Food Market, we're proud of all we do. From our humble beginning in Woodsfield in 1929, we've grown to several stores throughout the Ohio Valley. We strive to combine the same small-town friendliness with the buying power of the chain store to give you, our friends and customers, the best of both worlds. And we take pride in our community, its people, and their accomplishments. We're proud to support all county schools and wish the Monroe Central Seminoles the best of luck. We're proud of all we do at Respects Food Market. And Seminoles, we're proud of you.
Welcome back to the show. Joining us now is number 21, junior fullback Josh Jones. Josh not only is a fullback, but plays linebacker on the inside on defense. Josh, 15 tackles, 2 caught behind the lines, or CBLs the other evening, to go along with 34 yards rushing. Also 2 touchdowns in the first week, so just an all-around good performance so far this early in the year. And that was, we were wondering about how you were going to be able to come out. I know first scrimmage, right early in the scrimmage, you tore up your ankle. Is that bothering you any still, or is it back to normal yet?
No, the coaches at the beginning of the season, they told me a method to do, and that was to get a bucket full of ice and then to stick my ankle into that bucket and leave it there for, say, 15 minutes and then take it out, exercise it, then put it back in for another 15 minutes. And the week that I did sprain my ankle, the coaches gave me practice off, and that's probably the best thing that happened to me. I had a week off, and that really healed my ankle up, and Friday night it felt fine, and I was ready to go.
Okay. For anyone that hasn't done that ice bucket treatment, that's torture treatment. It puts freeze on it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Josh, from the inside linebacker position, I noticed a lot of times there's 2 different situations, and it's been the case a couple times you come flying through there like a madman and cause all kinds of havoc, and then there's other times when we don't see you in there. Are those called situations, and if so, I mean, do you have a preference?
Well, before the game, Eric we give numbers, and where you say that's a go left. Well, that would be Eric. He would blitz on that one, and then if he called like a 2, then that would be right, and then that would be my go. It just so happens that if it's a go right, it would be my go, and if that guard so happens to pull, then that's a free shot for me to get right in the backfield and attack the back or quarterback, whatever the situation may be.
Okay. Well, you've done a nice job already early this season, and like I said, you just take off and attack, and that's always fun on defense when you have that no responsibility, just go and cause problems. Coach, what can you tell us about Josh's performance so far?
Well, first of all, Lance, as we talked about Jesse, Josh had a nice year last year. As a sophomore, he stepped in there and played at linebacker, and he also did a nice job as a running back, and he actually played 2 positions. He lined up at tailback, and he lined up at fullback, and did a good job at both those positions. This year, we primarily used him on offense at the fullback position, but that doesn't mean you won't see him maybe at tailback here and there. And then on defense, as you mentioned, he's our inside linebacker. And Josh is the type of kid, type of player who's going to give you everything he has on every single play. He's a dedicated football player. He works real hard in practice, just as hard as he works in the games. And this is what makes a good football player. I think probably if you had to find a fault with Josh, and I don't look at it as a fault, but he probably gets down on himself a little bit too much at times when maybe he doesn't do as well as he'd like to, but that's only because he sets high goals for himself and high expectations and does everything he can to achieve those goals and those expectations. But he's just got a great attitude, a great work ethic, and he works real hard, and I think you're going to see a lot from him both on offense and defense and making big plays both ways.
Okay. Well, Josh, big game. Didn't have to have anybody get you fired up for the River Week. So they're going to be gunning for us this year, I'm sure, with us knocking them off last year, come from behind. So I wish you luck this week. Go out there, get fired up, and have a good time.
Thanks, Lance.
We're going to take a quick break and come back and look at some highlights from last week's big win over the Shadyside Tigers.
These days, it seems like everyone is looking for a bargain. You can spend a lot of time shopping for high quality and low prices, even for gasoline. Redhead in Woodsfield has 100% pure gasoline at low prices. While you're there, save on car care products, including oil, fluids, additives, and more. Soft drinks are discounted every day at the Redhead. Stock up on your favorite pop and snacks. Even Fido gets a break with Champion Dog Food at big savings. So stop at the Redhead today and save.
As always, Woodsfield True Value has lots of things on sale for fall cleanup. Stop in today to check out the bargains. While you're there, see their new display of kitchen and bath cabinetry, vanities, sinks, and countertops. Save up to 65% off the suggested list price of selected styles of cabinets. Choose from white laminate, oak, hickory, cherry, or maple wood, and choose from a variety of styles and materials in vanities and countertops. At Woodsfield True Value, help with your new kitchen or bath is just around the corner.
Big junior defensive end Johnny Shoemaker makes a nice play here on third down.
Here watch, they have twins to this side with a split end to the top of the screen. They go quick toss, and Johnny does a real nice job from his defensive end position, coming in, staying low, and snuffing that quick toss out.
Darren Grubb and Chris Dimmerling make a nice defensive play here.
Now here watch Darren Grubb from his middle guard position, and also Chris Dimmerling. Both use their hands on defense, do a good job of standing up the offensive blocker, and then finding the football right here, and both converging to make a good stop inside.
Tight end John Shoemaker makes a nice catch and run here.
Here out of a wing right formation, we'll run a play action pass. Jason Ludwig has nice quick feet, sets up, delivers the ball right on target to Johnny Shoemaker, who does a nice job of running with the ball after he makes a fine catch.
Quarterback Jason Ludwig makes a nice play here.
Yeah, here we'll run the curl route and to the slot side, and that curl man wasn't open, so Jason had the presence of stepping up, not going beyond the line of scrimmage, and then dumping the ball off to Eric out here to the left. And Eric does a nice job running with it afterwards, lowers his shoulder and punishes the defensive tackler.
Here several Seminole defenders converge on the ball carrier.
Again, nice job for up front people using their hands. We got a lot of black jerseys around the ball here, swarming to the ball carrier.
Here Jesse Nippert turns a quick out into a nice game.
Yeah, this is just a simple out of slot formation and out route or sideline pattern, and Jason gets a real nice drop, sets up, steps, delivers the ball. Jesse looks it in, makes the catch, does a nice job running here afterwards. Had to kind of push Daniel out of the road a little bit. We got several extra yards after the catch.
Big defensive lineman Tom Jones breaks through for a nice play here.
Now here we're in a double eagle look, and Tom's down in bumped down inside, and he takes the inside gap right there and sheds the blocker and does a nice job putting heat on the quarterback and getting himself a sack in there, and he also gets some help from some teammates in there in black jerseys.
Jesse Nippert gets the Seminoles on the scoreboard with the first of 2 punt returns.
Yeah, kind of focus your eyes here kind of in the middle, and you'll see number 33, Eric Kramer, put a crushing block to kind of get things started right here off the bat. Here's Eric in the bottom. Bang. And then Jesse cuts inside, picks up a couple more blocks, skips out of the tackle, picks up a final block from Chris Dimmerling right there, and takes it on into the end zone.
John Shoemaker finds his way into the Tiger backfield again.
Yeah, number 44 here, John Shoemaker from his right defensive end position, does a nice job. They hand off, and someone I think was supposed to pull and trap there, didn't. Left a clear shot for Johnny to make the tackle.
Lightning strikes twice. Jesse Nippert brings another one back.
Now, these are big plays when you can execute on special teams like this. And here they get a pretty good punt, maybe outkick their coverage a little bit, and Jesse fields the football, which is the first important thing to do. Ben Miller, number 24, picks up a nice block. Tommy Jones, a nice block. Johnny Cecil, a nice block. And then he's gone off to the races with Chris Dimmerling right down here to help out.
One of tonight's guests, Josh Jones, makes a nice play here on defense.
Here they try to go, we have one of their backs in kind of a deep slot position, and they try to go on a little swing pass here to him to the left, and Josh reads that real well, comes out and makes the tackle.
Here, Eric Kramer rips off a big gainer for the Seminoles.
From the tailback position, a real nice job here of up front blocking. We control the line of scrimmage, nice hole there, and Eric breaks through and then punishes the would-be tackler.
Early fourth quarter action now, Josh Jones busts through the line for another nice stop.
Yeah, from his inside linebacker position, you watch number 21 come in onto number 21 and make a good hit, good form tackle, and a nice loss.
Seminoles now on their game-winning drive. Josh Jones rips off a big run.
A straight dive play right here, and they get penetration. We get the ball handed off, and Josh shows some quickness and breaks through, covers the ball up, big yardage.
Daniel Ludwig makes a nice run now for the Seminoles on the left side.
And here out of belly formation, we give it to the second man through, a nice run here by Daniel Ludwig.
Eric Kramer picks up big yardage to move the Seminoles close.
Here we run a sweep to the right side, and Jason will reverse around, pitch the ball to Eric, and he does a nice job cutting back a block behind Josh Jones right there, and then Chris Timmerman gets a pin and he takes it down, and alert Jesse Nipper runs in and dives on the football as it got loose and very close to the goal line.
Daniel Ludwig goes around the left side here. Some good blocking springs him.
Here we come back with a play that we ran earlier and had success with, the outside belly with Daniel. We fake inside to Josh, a couple nice blocks up front, and Daniel waltzes into the end zone with the winning touchdown.
Charlie Shue comes up with a big sack again.
Yeah, great pressure here by John Shoemaker from his defensive end and Chris Dimmerling from his defensive tackle position, and the quarterback had no place to go. Big play right there defensively.
We'll be right back to take a look at this week's opponent, the River Pilots.
John and Steve of Weber's Pharmacy were born and raised in our area and care about you and your family. Over the years, they've served our community with after-hours emergency service, quality products, and competitive prices, friendly staff, and that special hometown touch. With that same spirit of hometown pride, John and Steve wish the Monroe Central Seminole teams and coaching staff good luck for a safe and successful season. Remember Weber's Pharmacy for all your healthcare needs. You're not just a number at Weber's Pharmacy, you're part of the family.
Before winter stops you in your tracks, stop by Monroe Tire Center, 314 Mill Street. You'll get top quality tires with fast, dependable, and courteous service. We have computerized balancing and four-wheel alignment, specializing in front-end work, including shocks and struts. Our service also includes brake work and free brake inspection. We carry a full line of quality tires and are able to supply most brands you may want. Custom wheels and batteries also available. Whether it's new, used, or retread tires you're looking for, stop in for all your tire needs. For honest, dependable service, call Monroe Tire Center at 472-5188.
Welcome back to the show. Coach, this week's opponent is the River Pilots, county rival. Pilots are 2-0 so far this year and really putting on an offensive show. Scored several points in both games and haven't appeared to be sluggish. They have a lot of people back on both sides of the ball, and you know, as we mentioned, 29-28 last year, we snuck out a victory there. Times probably didn't even deserve to win that ball game, and River's got to be remembering that. So, they're definitely gunning for us, among all other things, just revenge for last year. What can you tell us about River? I know they lost a couple of ball players, but they have a lot of guys back. Who are their big guns?
Well, when you look back at last year's team, they were 6-4 last year. They lost us in that third ball game, and then they had Marcus Ferry on the run, who had an excellent football team last year. And Mike Garrick, their key player on offense, got hurt, and they ended up losing that game. He had to sit out the next game, and they lost that game to Newton Falls. And they lost one other game, ended up 6-4. They could have very easily been, 8-2 or 9-1 last year. And they do return a lot of people. I think they have probably 7-8 returners on offense and likewise on defense. And when you look at their offense, as you mentioned, Lance, they've scored a lot of points. 21 points in the first game, 30-some points in the second game. They've scored a lot of points in the first two ball games, so that shows you what type of explosiveness that they have offensively. You can't key on any one particular person, and you can't key on any one particular phase of their game in terms of trying to stop the run or trying to stop the pass, because they do both well, and they've done both well in the first two ball games. When you have players like, as I mentioned, Mike Garrick, their quarterback, who can run the ball, he can throw the ball, so he's a threat either way. And then you have a running back like Jay Sonner, who was hurt last year and didn't get to play very much. He'll be number 10. He's a running back. He can also catch the football. He had 50 yards last week rushing and caught a few balls in the first couple games, and so he's somebody we have to be able to stop. And then they had the likes of two great receivers in Todd Fry, a split end, and Ed Triffenoff, number 5 and number 9. Both of those young men can catch the football. Both of them have good speed. Fry probably has better speed than what Triffenoff does. Both of them can move with the ball. So it's going to keep us on our toes defensively, and it's going to present probably the biggest challenge so far. You know, we went against Derek Caesar from Magnolia in the first game. We knew he was a versatile quarterback, but River probably has more overall weapons than what Magnolia did, and so that's going to be a real challenge for our defense to try to slow them down. And like I said earlier, we're allowing too many points. We're allowing teams to move the ball. So we're going to find out what our defense is made out of this week. There's no doubt about that.
Okay. A typical Terry Snively ball club likes to put the ball in the air, spread the field out. You mentioned Sonner with 100-plus yards rushing. Are they changing any of their technique here? I mean, or can we look more for run this year then?
Well, you know, we feel that their running game is much better this year than it was last year, and so, you know, I think, you know, a lot of people look and key to stop their pass because, as you said, they spread the field out. They'll run from a run and shoot, and they'll run from a pro, and they'll do trips or twins, and when they get you spread out like that, you have a tendency to forget about the running game, and that's something we can't do because Sonner has been one of the better backs that I've seen thus far this year.
Okay. I read in the preview earlier this season regarding Rivers' depth, and you look at what they've done defensively the first two games. They shut out Meadowbrook, which is a Division III school, and they held Tyler to a couple touchdowns. Was really, with as many as they scored, I'm not so sure one of those wasn't probably a gift, but they have a lot of depth according to what I've seen. They have a lot of guys that don't go both ways, which means a lot of fresh people in there. You know, what can you tell me about that?
Well, they do have several kids that just go one way, and that is a plus for them because, you know, they're fresh, and I think, you know, we've seen that in their scrimmage and in their first couple ball games that, you know, they're giving a heck of an effort on both sides of the ball, and I think that's, you know, as a result of just maybe going one way, so that definitely is a plus for them.
Okay. Who can you tell me as far as some of their big guns on defense and what actually type of lineup do they run?
Well, I think they're definitely a better defensive football team this year than they were last year. I think last year they might have been a little suspect to the run, and if you remember, we moved the ball rather easily on them and ripped off some big runs. This year, they're not allowing teams to do that. They're pretty solid all the way along the front wall, and they have good linebacker play, and you know, they're not overly big, although they have nice size. I think they're a lot quicker this year than what they were last year, and they'll probably go to the ball better, definitely better than the first two teams we played thus far, and maybe as well as anybody on their schedule. They're good size across the front. Number 56, Matt Corwin is a defensive tackle. He moves well for his size. 54, Gene Smith is probably their biggest down lineman. Number 69, Steve Cecil is one of their defensive ends. Their inside linebackers, number 51, Ben Fry, number 10, Jay Sonner, both do a nice job inside. So I think their pursuit is one of their strong suits of their defense, and we're going to have to do a lot better job sustaining our blocks on offense if we're going to move the football on the ground defensively. And I don't think it's going to be one of those things where we're going to be able to just grind it out. I think we're going to have to probably throw the ball and mix it up a little bit to get the offense going.
Okay. As far as everything else goes, kicking game, last week Seminoles were able to convert on a couple extra points, which turned out to be big at the end. River, what can you tell us? I believe Mike Gehrig is their kicker, is that right?
Right.
Looks like, 5 for 6 on the year, I guess.
Right, their kicking game is pretty good, and, it's not hurting one bit. And as you mentioned, we did work on our kicking game a good bit last week, and that helped. We had Eric in there kicking extra points. As I mentioned, the first game, we really didn't attempt an extra point. And this past week, we were 2 for 3, and we had won the last one blocked. And so we're going to have to do a better job on that as far as our protection up front. But I thought we did a better job on the kickoffs. There you got some decent kicks, not real great kicks, but better kicks. As far as distance is concerned, we did a better job on the coverage, so hopefully those things will continue to improve.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break and come back and wrap things up, let you know what's going on and who the big winners were last week. We'll be right back.
As time passes, your needs change. Woodsfield Savings and Loan has changed to meet those needs. At the Woodsfield Savings Bank, we know your schedule requires a drive-through and night deposit box. You want convenient parking, direct deposit, and automatic payments. At our new location on State Route 78, we want to meet your needs for a home mortgage, car loan, checking, and savings account. Our name and location have changed, but we're still here to serve our community and to help you to grow. The Woodsfield Savings Bank.
It's that time of year again, time to fix up that wood cutting and lawn equipment. Sandy Patton at Patton Small Engine Service can service that old chainsaw or fix you up with a new Poland Pro chainsaw, trimmer, or brush cutter. Whether you're in the timber business or just cutting firewood, Sandy has a Poland Pro that's right for you. Sandy can also sharpen all types of saws, so give Sandy a call at 472-5675. Open Monday through Friday, 6 to 10, Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 6. Patton Small Engine Service.
Welcome back. Just want to take a few minutes here before we close this evening and tell you what's going on this weekend. 7:30 p.m. kickoff time at River High School tomorrow evening. But just to note, the reserves will play Monday evening at 5:30 at Woodsfield against River. So if you get a chance, get out there and watch these guys play some ball and root them on. Big list of winners this week. The 50-50 sheets the sideliners put out, there were 52 sheets this week. Keith McGregor from Reiner's Mills was the big winner. 22 and 8. We had 3 people with 9 misses, so real close right there. As far as the sideliner board goes, Darren Dimmerling, another former Woodsfield player for you, Coach, class 84, I believe, or somewhere there. Darren won the first quarter, second quarter, and fourth quarter. He had 0s and 7s. And Scott Myers, you see Scott up at Jackson's Newsstand, one of our advertisers here. Scott won the third quarter. As far as the football moms go, at 25-25, you may wonder what the names on Weber's Pharmacy are. Those names are the winners of the football moms 25-25 drawing. This week, a relative of mine, Andy Shoemaker, was the big winner, along with Diane Burkhart. Just a couple final notes. Channel 6 will air the game at 11 a.m. Saturday morning with Jeff Stevens, and the game will also be shown after the news tomorrow night on TV9. So, Coach, I want to wish you a lot of luck. Hopefully, big showing. Seminoles bringing some nice crowds to the games. Hopefully, things will really start picking up for us here.
Oh, thanks, Lance.
Okay. We'll talk to you next week.